Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another exciting meeting at Toastmaster for Professionals. At Toastmaster for Professionals, it's all about you and your growth, implementing the learnings from Toastmasters in your personal and professional life. I welcome all the guests in the room, Parveen, and we also have Abdul Wahid and our dear friend Prerna Roy, who is a returning Toastmaster. She will probably become a member if she likes the meeting. So perform well. Did you ever wonder the agile that is here to make our projects, make our industry better? Can we implement that in our life, especially family life, to make it better? Well, today our Toastmaster, an active Toastmaster, and is one of the best Toastmasters I've seen. You must hear his speeches to learn more. But today, he has an intriguing topic talking about how we can implement agile practices in our personal life and make families better. I invite Toastmaster Mohan Teneti as a Toastmaster of the day. The virtual lecture is yours, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Theme of, okay, let me start with the theme of the day today. By the way, I'm Toastmaster Mohan Teneti. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to people based upon your location and time zone. First, I would like to tell what is it, who is a Toastmaster of the day and who is a Toastmaster. So Toastmaster of the day, this is for the benefit of the people who has joined as guests or who are new to this meeting or joined this meeting for the first time. Toastmaster of the day is the primary anchor for this meeting. I have supporting team too. I'm basically a Toastmaster, but today I'm playing this role of a Toastmaster of the day. I will now talk about the theme for this day and then proceed with the structure of this meeting, and then I will introduce my supporting team. Coming to, I think I should be able to share my screen. Can somebody allow me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sharing this. First, let us talk about the theme for the day today. How many of you are aware of the Agile methodology? Prerna, Raghuram. Oh, many of you. Yeah, it's the session is going to be really interesting. Before going to that, let me first see the overview. The overview is we are going to discuss what is Agile for family management, and then a few things. Agile is a big ocean. Today I will take some drops, very important drops that are useful, and that is something I applied in my life. So the examples are, I'm not going to preach you anything. I'm not going to tell you any theory or jargon. I'm just going to tell you something I applied in my life. I'm going to share it with you. I will ask you to share your insights too here and there. So coming to Agile, for the benefit of people who has not worked on it. So Agile, it's a project management methodology. This is widely used in information technology industry, the industry that I belong to. This has been applied to several projects across the globe several times for several years, tested successfully. This has been time tested. It is not limited only to information technology industry, but people from other industries like pharma, sports, construction, everybody can use that. It uses a framework called Scrum framework. Don't worry about this jargon, Agile, Scrum. And there are some rituals which I have chosen a few that I would like to discuss with some examples. First one is daily stand-up. Second one is sprint planning. Third one is visual management. Next is sprint retrospective. What is Then what is Agile for family management? I don't know whether somebody wrote a book or a paper or some video. Somebody has shared a video I have seen, but I have never done, I never knew that somebody has written something, but this is something I worked on Agile from past 10 years. And I also do family management from past several years. So I just want to do a mix of both and present my perspective today. So this is the overview and this is the theme. We'll discuss some interesting topics later today. And with this, now let me proceed with the structure of the meeting. So coming to the structure of this meeting, just like in any Toastmasters meeting, we have three sessions predominantly. One is prepared speeches. In the prepared speeches, the prepared speakers, they come up with their own script. They want to share their speeches with us. Usually the speeches last for 5 to 7 minutes, unless it's an icebreaker. The second session is going to be table topic session, which is more of impromptu speaking. It just lasts for 1 to 2 minutes. The third session, which is the heart of any Toastmasters meeting, that is evaluation. Evaluation, this is a constructive feedback, which is given from multiple angles, just not one angle. Could be the timing aspect, usage of crutch words, the grammar, storytelling aspects, and so on and so forth. In the end, we take feedback and we usually close this meeting. So that is the structure of this meeting. But to do this, I am not alone today. I have a team. Teamwork makes dream work. I would like to introduce my team members. Famously, there is also an acronym called TAG team. T stands for timer, A stands for counter, G stands for grammarian. So the timer for today, I would like to welcome Toastmaster J. Sejpal, who was also my fellow Toastmaster in the previous club last year. I would like to welcome Toastmaster J to explain his role.
Thank you. As a timer of the day today, I'll take care of, I will note down the timing of all the speakers and evaluators. Also, all the table topics also. I'll note down the time and towards the end of the meeting, I'll present my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster J. I would now like to invite our counter for today, that is Toastmaster Vamshi Alla. Vamshi?
Oh, Vamsi's not here, and Milind is taking his spot.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Thank you.
Over to you, Toastmaster Milind.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, for a very interesting topic. I got so engrossed in it. And wonderful. So my role is the most dreaded role in a Toastmasters meeting, they say, because I am what is called as the AHA counter. So an AHA counter job is to keep a close eye on how you are speaking during your whatever speech you are giving or evaluation you're doing, and the kind of a repetitive words that you use, or the unnecessary or long pauses that creep into your speech, or the ahs, or the ums, or the so. These are kind of a filler words which we tend to use, because as we have to grow up becoming a good speaker, we need to slowly and gradually eliminate this words or repetitive words and so on. So in a Toastmasters meeting, the role of our counter is to sensitize you to the use of such words so that you become conscious about it, and in your future speeches, you are able to reduce it as much as possible. So I will present my report when I'm called upon. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Milind. Thank you, Toastmaster Milind. So now I would like to invite Wordmaster Grammarian, Toastmaster Ashwin Patel to...
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters and guests. As grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all the speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any improper language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. And guess what today, folks? The word of the day is audacious. Yes, please use it freely. It's free. So stretch yourself, use it as many times as you want. You will get points. So let me know who's the winner today, and I'll let you know, and I'll give you the report at the end of the day. Thank you so much. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Ashwin. Now, let me proceed to the first session of the day today, that is the prepared speeches session. So for the prepared speeches, we have two speakers, very energetic, very active, very dynamic speakers. Couple of speakers we have lined up for speeches today. The first speaker is Toastmaster Doreen. I would like to invite Toastmaster Ekta Agarwal, who is her evaluator today, to introduce or present the details of Doreen's speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Ekta.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Mohan. Today's speech by Doreen is a final project for level 2 on persuasive influence, on talking about when we were someone's protege. The topic for the day is remember the goal. I would like to invite Doreen. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Doreen, are you ready?
Yes.
All the best.
Happy Tuesday from Henderson, Nevada. Remember the goal. This is my second level 2 speech on the pathway for persuasive influence on being a protege. My name is Doreen Galley, and I'm here in Henderson, Nevada. For anyone attending via audio only, I'm a white female with dark blonde, long, soft, curly hair, and I'm wearing a turquoise blouse and wearing my blue block reader glasses. Who has had a mentor before? Raise your hand, put it in the chat. Maybe a Toastmasters mentor, one in school, one for your profession. Not seeing anyone respond, so I guess maybe no one's feeling loquacious today, but I've been very fortunate when it comes to mentors. I've had some real rock stars. During my postdoc alone, I worked with Paul Larson, the father of SQL, Wahid Yamini and Toby Torrey that created the X500 directory service, and Avi Silvershot. So anyone with a computer science degree knows Avi because he wrote our operating systems book that we had to use for a computer science major all around the world. I've been in the boardroom of Deutsche Post WorldNet, a global Fortune 10, the executive offices of IBM, AT&T, Dell, and Microsoft. But with all of these amazing colleagues and mentors, for this story, I'm going back to grad school. The importance of a good mentor in grad school cannot be understated. Unlike an MBA, when you're an engineer, you have to solve a problem. 1, usually for your master's, and for your PhD, 3. Some supervisors aren't very efficient. It might take you 2 to 3 years to get out, and you could never finish any faster with that supervisor because they take forever to give you feedback, and they just don't keep the process going, but they like to use it for their research. PhDs could easily take 5 to 10 years. So you want to choose your mentor carefully. My mentor was at the University of Waterloo. Now, Waterloo was pretty tough to get into. It had a 2% acceptance rate. And one of the great things about Waterloo is in the International Putnam Mathematics Competition, they were the only North American university in the top 10. They were in the top 5. For the ACM Computer Programming Competition in the world, they were the only North American university in the top 10. And once again, the only one in the top 5. That's right, MIT, Berkeley, Carnegie Mellon. No, nowhere to be found, sorry. So I went to Waterloo and I got Charlie Colburn. His advice was great. It was nothing audacious, but it was something you could really use and build upon. My first piece of advice came when he asked me to review an article for a journal. I reviewed it, I read it. Didn't have anything too exciting in it. It was kind of sloppily written and I wasn't that impressed. I was like, wow, this is kind of awkward. So I went to my meeting with Charlie, and he asked me about the paper. I was kind of hoping maybe he forgot. And I said, yeah, I read it. It wasn't very good. I mean, it wasn't anything useful. It wasn't anything monumental. It wasn't written very well. I feel kind of bad. What do you want me to do with this? First piece of advice: know when you're the person who knows enough to say something. Doreen, you just finished all your background research for your master's on this topic. You know everything. You are the expert. If you don't think it's very impressive, then it's really not. Wow, amazing. Always important to know when you know enough to say and when you're the expert in the room. Second piece of advice came when I was doing my comps. To do a PhD, you have to do 2 sets of comps. Now, anyone with a degree remembers your final exams for all your core courses in your junior and senior year? Oh yeah, those are all given within 1 week's time frame. But it's the information that the University of Waterloo cares about, not my small liberal arts school that I went to for undergrad. Not only do you have the written exam every day during that week, all the exams 1 week on top of each other, it's what they care about. You also have an oral exam. Now remember, you have to know who's enough to say something. Well, these are the people that know enough to say something. These are the professors that write and publish in data structures, doing an oral exam on data structures for you. And then when you go into operating systems, you're within the experts who write and publish on operating systems, an oral exam. These written and oral exams all happen within a 1 week time frame. That's the easy part. The second stage comps are when you have to prove that you know enough to do research in this area. So you have to prove that you've done all the background, and then you get approval over your problems. Now, Charlie said this is really important. You have to get approval over your problems so that when you solve the problem, they're good with it. And they go, you're right, that's a PhD. If you wait till after the fact, they could say, well, it's not problems, nothing too fancy. We don't think it's good enough. Get approval of how important the problems are before you solve them. Great advice. Third piece of advice was really doozy. I was working on my research. I was working on my third problem. Remember, you have to solve 3 major contributions to get a PhD. I did my first 2. I was working on the third. I got my intro written with all the background from when I did my second stage comps. I got my first problem written up, second chapter, third chapter. I was working on my third problem. I was going to get my 4th chapter and finish this puppy up. And I'm looking at it. I had this ridiculous background, and I noticed that with a generator of a group being relatively primed, the order of the group, all the research fell out. It's a basic first week linear algebra 2 math topic, right? So mathematician, this is fairly well known. Generator of prime, generator relatively prime, it just falls out. It was a paragraph. So I go to my meeting with Charlie. I'm like, Charlie, what am I supposed to do? It's see, when it's relatively prime, all this expands, it just falls out. And he looked at me and he said, Doreen, when you solve a complicated problem in a simple manner, that's a good thing, not a bad thing. Remember the goal. You're supposed to solve the problem, not write a chapter. What are you being measured by? Solving the problem. Remember, we already got approval if that problem is good enough and you solved it, so they can't change their mind. Nothing audacious, but it definitely hit the mark. With that, back to you, Toastmaster.
Yeah, what a wonderful speech, Toastmaster Doreen. You connected so many topics, right? From SQL, Windows, data structures, T-schools, and the 3 pieces of advice from your PhD journey. What an inspiring speech. It's really good. I'm a person who really believe an advice given by a right person at the right time will create a life-lasting impact. It's really an inspiring speech. Thank you. Now, let's proceed with the next speech. Before inviting our next speaker, I would like to invite his evaluator, Toastmaster Sarika. I met Toastmaster Sarika in one of the previous meetings.
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, Sarika, nice to see you in this meeting. I was with you in some of the meetings some time back. Really glad to see you here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And actually
Yeah.
missed out an important thing. I did not ask Pramod what the path is. So if Pramod can tell me, I can evaluate.
Okay. So, or you want
motivation strategies level 1, speech 2 or 3.
Okay. Thank you.
do you want to know all the details of his speech? If I can, let me share my screen. It's already there in the agenda. Yeah, L1, sorry. L1P2, the title, When I Shouted at an Angel. Motivational, interesting title, by the way. Motivational strategies is the path. Introduction to body language and vocal variety is the project. The time is 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are you clear, Sarika? Can we now request Pramod?
Yes, I am Mr. Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarika. Pramod, all the best.
Yeah, you can stop sharing the screen.
Sure.
Okay. Mr. President, Toastmaster of the day, fellow and future Toastmasters, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm sure that you all remember COVID times. It was March 2020. My wife got affected with COVID for the first time, and she got admitted in the hospital. And she was pretty serious. She was in ICU, intensive care unit. So after 3 days, I got also affected with COVID. The chest X-ray showed that my score is 10, which is an alarming situation. The doctor told me you should get admitted in the hospital as early as possible. I had no choice. I said, okay. And the same hospital where my wife was admitted, I got admitted in the same hospital. And see, the atmosphere is so horrible because normally in a hospital, when you go, the doctor will smile, the nurse will look at you. But in this situation, you are not supposed to talk to anybody. You are not supposed to sit with somebody. And more horrific thing is that you are not even seeing the faces of the people who are treating you. It's all wearing PPE kits. It's just like they came here, they come here as astronaut, they talk to you, they'll prescribe the medicine, then they'll walk away. Only the sound is there, nothing else. It all increased my frustration. First day, immediately after getting admitted to the hospital, a nurse came and told me that we have to put an IV because we need to start your medicine so fast. I was so tired, but they didn't know one thing, that I was really afraid of needles. That she didn't expect. It was very short. She said, sir, it's not painful. Even small children do that. You just give me your hand. It won't take more than 1 second. I'll make a very gentle prick and we'll finish it. I just looked at her and I said, no, I don't want to do that. If you want to do the injection, see, when I'm sleeping, you can take the injection, but I will not allow you to prick on my hand. Then she pleaded and she said, see, just one prick and we have to do that. Then finally, reluctantly, I agreed, not audaciously. I agreed to her. I extended my arm and I was like this. Okay, you do it. After a few seconds, see, each second, I felt like an hour. Then finally it happened. I could feel that pain. Okay, now it is over. Then I looked, and I found that she didn't get the vein. Because I am chubby, there is no visible vein in my body. I really got frustrated. I said, I told you not to prick more than once. I just told you to prick one so that you should get the vein. She said, sir, your body, no veins are visible. How do I do that? Then I told her that, okay, I'll give you one more chance. But this time you should make it. Okay, agreed. She was about to prick. I withdrew my hand. I pulled it back. Then she said, so what is this, sir? So you let me do it properly. Then I said, don't do on this hand. You do on the other hand. Because this hand you already tried. and failed. You can do in this thing. She was about to do this thing. She pricked. The same thing happened. She didn't get the way, and I shouted at her. I said, I'm not going to allow you to do this thing. So you, whatever treatment you do it without IV. I was so adamant. And she also got frustrated and she left the room immediately. And I was waiting for somebody to come. No water, nothing. Nobody's there in the room. I pressed the bell 2-3 times, but nobody came because it became a talk in the hospital that there is a moron is admitted in that room. So nobody goes. So you should not go there. That was the message, I guess, they passed to the rest of the doctors and nursing staffs. After some time, my doctor came. Her name is Ankita Lokhande. Very nice lady. The one regret is that I still don't remember her face. So she treated me and my wife, but I thanked her profusely, but I couldn't see her face and I never saw her. In fact, she was there with us for more than 10 days. I was admitted for 10 days. She came there and she talked to me first. So what happened, Pramod? You are such a nice man. See, this is very small thing. Can't you understand that your vitals are very low? Your chest CT score is less than 10. So you are in a very critical situation. So we have to do the treatment immediately. Then she said, okay, I'll do one thing. I'll put the IV for you. And don't worry, I'll do it gently. But see, for a doctor, we have some comfort. When a doctor says that, we'll feel that, okay, something good is going to happen. Then I extended, not courageously. From outside, it looked like courageous, but inside I was really terrified. I extended the hand. She just looked at my eyes. It's really nice, no issue. Give me that. Then she put the IV in just one prick. But the remaining 10 days, I had to take 5 injections per day for something which stops thickening my blood. So blood thickening, they call it flak. So that's what they call it. They used to take the injection here. The first day I resisted for 5 injections per day. The second day onwards, it became a routine. And my IV was changed 5 times during this 10 years hospital stay. The only good thing that happened is my fear of needles had gone with this 10 days of hospitalization. Even though I was admitted for 10 days in the hospital, my wife was really happy because every time when I go to the hospital for some blood checkup and all, I was the one who protests. I'm the one who protests, or my wife was in a really difficult situation because she had to manage me and she had to convince the nurses that he has this, the person has got this problem. So please be mindful of what you're doing. So she was happy. She said, okay, from now onwards, I don't have to come with you for hospital when you go for a medical checkup. The lesson is very simple. Do the thing which you fear, the fear will go away. And it is an interesting session for me. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Pram. What a wonderful speech. I can totally relate with your speech. Even I have this injection phobia. I have been through this COVID situation. Until I was affected with COVID, right? I felt I was like very brave, courageous. But whenever it comes to this injection, my wife is more courageous. I usually take my wife along whenever I go to hospital. It's really, really interesting story. I mean, for people who don't have this injection phobia, they may not relate, but I can see Sage Patel, Dr. Sage Pulse, J. Sage Pulse ways. He's the doctor himself. I'm sure he can very much correlate what you said. Very, very good, interesting speech. Thanks. Thank you, Pramod. So what we'll do now is let us proceed with our team. Let me share my screen again. Yeah. We go to the next one. That is daily stand-up. Those who are familiar with Scrum, who use it day in and day out, they may think, what is this stand up and how does it impact our day-to-day life? You can see a nice picture. By the way, it is not my family picture, it is some picture. My family also looks similar to this, 3 kids, wife, me. So if you ask a daily stand-up, right, if you ask your children or family members, hey, let's come, let's have a daily stand-up every day, I am sure one day they will come and next day onwards they will run away. What we need to do here is we need to make sure that we have a one time, maybe 15 minutes per day. It could be a breakfast or a lunch or a dinner. Have one time where you meet all your family members. What I do is I make sure that I have breakfast along with my wife, children. Definitely, I will not miss it any day. It's not that I like breakfast very much. I don't, it's not that I like dosa very much. It's basically I would like to sync up with my family. And there are some ways you can have make it more effective while having your breakfast. I mean, when I have it, these are the three things I have it in my mind. What did you do yesterday? What is your plan for today? Or any impediments? When I talk to my daughter, I don't use all this jargon. This is only to explain you. What did you do yesterday? Instead, I will ask, hey, Akriti, you said yesterday you had one exam, right? How did it go? Yesterday you had one singing competition, right? How did it go? Then she may come back and say, hey, Papa, I did really well. If she says that, I will say, hey, wow, congrats, beta. So I will take it as an opportunity to appreciate her. If she says, no, it was a total spoiler, then, oh, that's okay, don't worry. I will encourage her. Then the next question would be, what is your plan for today? I will not ask this question directly. I will tweak it a bit. Instead, I will ask, hey, Aradhya, you have a fancy dress competition, right? Are you prepared for it? Do you have all the Halloween costume? Do you have all the supporting material that you need? Then she may say, yeah, I have it. Or she may say, no, I need your help. I don't have the costume that is torn. Why don't you get me? And the next one is about impediments. I don't use the words like impediments, challenges, risk, issues. Instead, I will ask them, hey, how is it? One example I'll tell you. Once I asked my daughter, hey, how is it going with your friends? She's very choosy in making friends. If she makes somebody a friend, they're lifelong friends. Otherwise, she doesn't make easily friends with a lot of people. So when I at the more the important thing here is having a very friendly environment, having these things in your mind and asking very simple, relatable questions. When I say, hey, how is it going with your friends? Sometime back you said there was a complaint, right? So my daughter opened up and she said, yeah, Papa, that girl is now, she has become a bully. She started unnecessarily making troubles to me. Oh, okay. Then I understand this is a challenge for her. So a few days later, I reached when I had attended the PTA parent teacher meeting in their school. I took up with the teacher. So I said I had a very good soul to soul connection with my daughter. So I felt that there was somebody troubling her in the school. Maybe it did not come to your notice. That way, very simple and effective way. What I do, and I also advise you can also do with your family members, have some time slot, at least 10-15 minutes. Ask a few questions, some indirect, relatable questions. To know what they did yesterday, what is their plan today, and how you can help them. Basically, you are there to help, not to, you are not a master. So with that mindset, and it is a frequency is daily. I usually do it. And then impact. The impact is it increases the family bonding. It empowers my spouse, it empowers my children. They feel somebody, my dad is listening to me, my husband is listening to me, he knows what we are doing, and they also in turn give some help to me. And this helped me, just in the example I said regarding the bullying of my daughter in school, it helped me to identify the issue quite ahead and fix the problem before it blew up full scale. Any experience, I mean, this is something I would like to share. You can tweak it. I mean, the questions, right, which are relatable to you. So this is one point I would like to tell. Very effective tool, daily stand up. Yep. Any inputs from anyone before we proceed to the next session on daily stand-up? Anybody who practiced Agile already? Yeah, go ahead, Doreen. Yeah, I can see only you. You can go ahead.
Yeah. In fact, I also tried doing this. Because my daughters are a little grown up nowadays, so but still, in whatever way possible, we try to do it. And it's also important to do it when you are just with your wife. Many times we tend to take our spouses for granted and say that, okay, what children are anyway on their own, so why do I have to really bother? So I went through this phase, and I'm now trying to get into a routine with my wife also, that, I spend about 15 minutes over tea or some small walk, or maybe when she's just cooking, just sit near the kitchen table and do a bit of an interaction about what's going on with her, with our daughters, what we should be doing today, and so on and so forth. And I would like to also quote I think there's a nice quote, I don't know, I'm getting it right. The family that eats together stays together. And so it's very important that we have at least one meal a day together. So I try to ensure that in some way or the other. Thank you. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Milind. Anybody else want to share? I can't see everyone. Yeah, go ahead, Doreen. Yeah.
Yes, during our fitness and family time, we do a daily stand-up. How's it going? We also include our health metrics. So we have the Apple Fitness Watch, and then we got the Athletic app. And in there, you can find out the quality of your sleep the night before, including the amount of sleep that was restorative, as opposed to simply asleep. We also look at our current energy and exertion level that's available for today. If we're doing this after our workout, usually we'll also review and say, how do the metrics go? What's the plan for the day? Sometimes we'll also do a look ahead. So this is our today and any of the impediments and such for today, but also as a look ahead, tomorrow we have this going on and this, so so we can plan for the whole context. But it's fantastic to always start your day by finding out where you are and what we need to keep and make this day go fantastic. Great presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Doreen. A very good one. I mean, hearing about health metrics is something novel to me for stand-up. We will have to include it in my presentation later. Yeah. So now we are at the end of our first session, that is the prepared topic session. Let us now proceed to the second session, which is the table topic session. To handle this table topic session, we have our DTM Toastmaster Raghu. Toastmaster Raghu, I welcome you to take over table topic session. Thank you. I can stop sharing if Raghu is available. Raghu, are you available?
Yes, Mohan.
Raghu, I think we can now start with the table topics. Since you are the table topics master, I would like you to take the control of that session.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Toastmaster. Table topics is all about having fun, same time learn the art of impromptu speaking. One of the favorite quotes that I listen to is, life is not a prepared space. Isn't it true, my friends? There are several moments where we cannot go prepared, but we can prepare ourselves by practicing in table topic section in Toastmasters. It's a wonderful way where we can apply our practice and learn the art of impromptu speaking, especially those moments when your wife asks, where were you last night? Our boss asks you, where were you on your sick day? Probably those questions. They might look fun, but sometimes when you have to answer, that 1 to 2 minutes makes a lot of difference in your life. Let's go by practicing impromptu speaking in table topic section. Before I start, let me clarify with the timer, how much time do I have for this section after Toastmaster today?
Oh, we have 10 minutes. Raghu, we have 10 minutes.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. So it's 7:40 India Standard Time now. I have 10 minutes from now. Who wants to go first? Prerna, wonderful. Prerna, I have a silly question for you. Very silly question. Okay, and so something that everybody knows. Probably, I don't know. You must answer that. Was it the chicken or the egg? Which came first? Chicken or egg? Which came first? Prerna Roy.
Okay, so please let me know if I can start talking.
You can start. Just look at the timer.
Okay, cool. Yes, so between this commonly asked question, what came first, the chicken or the egg? I've actually faced this a lot in the past, and it is a thing to really think about. From a standpoint of science, I believe the most common thing that people would say is that the egg came first, not the chicken. But for the egg to have come first, then again, there should have been a chicken. So this endless loop just has to keep going on. And this is a thing that a dilemma, I guess, we face in our daily lives every now and then, between just like how what came first, the chicken or an egg, when you think about problem solving and you think of the root cause to the problem, you're stuck between a loop about what really, came first between the problem and, the root cause of it. So really relating to the chicken or egg question, there are times in our lives when we keep, coming through such problems. And really to answer this question, I would think from a scientific standpoint that I feel it is the egg that came first. And that is how I really, think of looking at it from a problem standpoint as well. So the egg in reality is like the root cause to whatever the issue that we're solving. And whenever we're looking at something, just drawing parallels, it would be that the root cause is really the egg in that matter. And that, the other supplementary issues that you see because of, the root cause could probably be chickens, which could cause other eggs and other problems. But yeah, I'm just drawing parallel. But to answer your question in short, it is the egg that came first. And with that, I would like to conclude that, yeah, with this, I guess there are several parallels you draw in daily life. And I guess it's an audacious conclusion that I'm making. Thank you.
Certainly audacious. I remember somebody asked, can you tell me how many hairs are there on my head? And the guy said, 1 million. If you have any doubt, go and count. But I cannot go to the prehistoric date and then check the fact. So you're right, my dear friend. Now it's time for another topic. And for this topic, I want to know, is there any married man in the room who want to try this topic? Any audacious married man in the room? No? Okay, I'll pick up. Okay, millions. Million. This is like switch topic, okay? As soon as a switch, you need to change your side. The topic for you, distinguished Toastmaster Bilin, is I love my wife. I love my wife. And you know how to do it when I say switch.
I could hear you, Raghu. Sorry, can you start again?
The topic for you is I love my wife. And I say switch, and then you need to change your stand.
Of course. I know my wife. Do you have any doubts, Mr. Raghu? Whether I know my wife or not? I have been married. In fact, I had my wedding, and we had our wedding anniversary 2 days back. Today is 31st, right? 29th May. So 36 years. And you think I still do not know my wife? Come on, Mr. Raghu. I know my wife inside out. I can tell you when she's going to be angry, when she's going to be happy.
Switch.
Oh, come on, Raghu. What a question you are asking me. Do you think you can ever fathom a lady's mind? I don't think so. I'm sure you are also married for more than 10, 15, 20 years, Raghu. Therefore, you know it very well. So why even dare ask me this question? whether I know my wife. Of course, I don't know my wife, and I'm sure all. So continuing, well, I mean, it's not a question of whether you know your wife. You have to make a conscious attempt to know your wife. It is you need to be talking to her. You need to be understanding what is going on in her life. Like our Toastmasters of the day is doing, we should have a scrum or a stand-up meeting maybe once every day to know what is going on. Don't ever try, Prabhu, to know your wife. Ask Pramod. I know Pramod's wife, and I know how well she knows her. He only knows maybe she's a good Kathak dancer or Bharatnatyam dancer. That's about all. Beyond that, even he doesn't know. Ashwin, you ask him. He's smiling, from end to end, he's smiling. I mean, anybody who says you know your wife is a very, very audacious person. You have to make a conscious attempt to know your wife. Anything doesn't come easily in life. You have to work on it. You have to think about it. You have to yourself contribute. So now what am I talking about? So as I said, never ever try to know your wife. Enjoy. Just because if you make an attempt, you will get frustrated. You will feel, oh, what is this? 36 years and still I am not knowing my wife. So never try. So with that, let me close now. It's a red sign which has already come up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I saw D. Mary, who raised her hand before. Do we still have her here? Yeah, D. Mary. There you go. Doreen, I'll ask you. D. Mary had her hand raised, but then she was unhappy that I didn't ask her. So she left. D. Mary, you want to go?
I will give it a try, Raghu.
Okay. Dimeri, what do you want? What do you have to talk about fake feminism? What do you have to talk about fake feminism today?
Are you saying fake feminism? How dare you ask me that question? I am not a fake by any means. I consider myself to be very feminine. As a matter of fact, I am audaciously proud of the fact that I am feminine. But how dare you ask me that question? I thought that by now you would know me well enough to know that I am not a fake. I am authentic, but I am audacious. I am not aggressive, not trying to be insulting. But my goodness, why would you think that there would be anything fake about me at all? I think that when a woman knows who she is, she has this swagger, she has a sense of confidence, she knows what she is trying to accomplish. None of those things are fake. You have to be real, but you also have to stand on who you are in order to make certain that you don't just come across as audacious and that you're not just being pompous and that you're not embellishing who you are. I would never attempt to be fake. I think to be real and to be authentic, but to be transparent and sometimes to be vulnerable, make us who we are. And when we have accomplished that and can perform and present ourselves in that way, oh my God. Back to you.
Oh, that was threatening. The Toastmaster of the day, I would like to borrow a few minutes and then I have something interesting as an impromptu game. Now I have Jen, who's raised a hand, Ritu Ghosh, and then also Mark, who was also unhappy that he didn't get picked up. Mark, are you ready? Mark?
I think he has gone from the meeting.
Mark, are you there?
He said, I'm here. I didn't raise my hand, but I'll go for it.
No problem, sir. So this is the game. So Jen, Ritu, and Mark. This is something like I make a statement and Jen picks it up using my last word or a word of my statement as the first word in your statement. Just don't use more than 15-20 seconds. Let's start. Let's keep the ball rolling. And then we'll use 2 to 4 minutes for this exercise. Whoever goes wrong,
No.
they are out of the game. Please ensure that the last word is your first word. For example, I end with end, and the end becomes your first word in your statement. I don't know how you're going to build your statements, but that's how it works. Okay?
Sorry to interrupt. In timer, as a timer card, like which card I would
2 to
have
4,
to play?
2 to 4, 2, 3, and 4. Okay?
Okay.
Wonderful. I'll start with Jen, Ritu, Ritu to Mark, Mark to Jen again. I'll start with my statement and then Jen picks it up. Jen, can we look at your face? Wonderful. Thank you. And my statement is, men and women are equal in every way. Way is your first word, Jen.
Do I have to start like
way?
Okay.
Just with it.
Way over there is a dog lying down, and he is sad because he does not have his bone, and he's looking at his owner.
Owner.
Sorry, what? Ritu. Owner is your first word.
Okay. Owner. Owners are the winners. I'm just making it up. Owners are the winners. Whoever is able to own their capabilities, their shortcomings, their anything which is their trait in their character, they are always the winner.
Winner, Mark.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner is a saying that I've heard before in a movie.
Before. Jen. We can't hear you. You're on mute, Jen.
Before I was here, I was out doing errands and going grocery shopping.
Shopping, Ritu.
You're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, shopping. So shopping is fun. Who doesn't like to do shopping? These days we have shifted to online shopping, but it's still shopping. Like browsing on phone or browsing in a window shopping is, I would count they are kind of same. I treat them same. I ended with same.
Same here. I online shop, but I prefer to go in store so that way I could try on the clothes, maybe even get something to eat while I'm out doing the shopping, and which reminds me of a story.
Okay, adding Shashi. Shashi's story becomes your first word. You're on mute. Guys, don't keep yourself on mute. It's killing time.
Stories are a wonderful way to convey our emotions. Stories create impact. Stories are remembered. So whatever we say, if we use stories, it will be remembered for a long duration of time, and it will have an impact on the audience. For
audience, Jen. Don't mute yourself. You're killing time.
The audience is who you want to impress. And if you're not able to impress your audience, are you really speaking to anyone?
Anyone, Ritu?
Yeah, Raghu, we don't have much time. Maybe we have to.
I know. The red card is not yet there. Anyone, Rito?
Anyone can speak. That's the program. I just enrolled myself. It's been, we just finished the first day and it was so much fun.
Fun, Mark.
Fun is my language. I really enjoy having fun. Fun for me would be playing basketball.
Basketball, Shashi.
Basketball is a sport if you want to, for kids who want to grow tall. That's why during my childhood, I have always tried to play basketball. And today is the result. I mean, I am quite tall now.
Wonderful. Now we know we don't need complain anymore. Just play the basketball and you grow taller. Wonderful. Thank you very much. You all did well and nobody was out, especially leaving Jen that she used an article before the word, but then that is permissible. With that note, we conclude the table topic session. Hope you had some fun, some learning. I'll give back to our beloved Toastmaster, Mohan Teneti.
Yeah, thank you, Raghu. Very insightful topics and interesting game in the end. Thank you for that. So let's continue with our theme. The theme, so the next topic is sprint planning. So this is a planning exercise. There are multiple parameters or multiple tracks in which I do planning. Especially sometimes when my wife asks me, hey, what do you want to eat for today? Sometimes I feel it's so sweet. My wife loves me a lot. But when I am in the middle of meetings, if she asks me this question, I feel irritated. Same way, upskilling. If I attend one Toastmasters meeting per week because I have to balance so many things, my wife supports me. If I attend 10 meetings, Toastmasters meetings in a week, the situation is going to be different. Similarly, I track other things, health, when I have to get my medical checks, diabetes or BP checks, and then the payments, vacations. One time I did not plan that there is a this festival Diwali. I forgot it because of my hectic schedule. One day before, I realized that I did not buy any crackers. That was very embarrassing situation that time. Similarly, clothes based upon the meetings I have, based upon the seasons, I also need to make sure that I have the right clothes set up. So what I do for meal planning is we usually plan morning, we have some cereals, afternoon, rice with some Indian curry, evening some Indian flatbread with some curry. So based upon that, myself and my wife, we discuss with your children, identify the dishes, not precisely, but at a high level. And the same note, I will also bring my the groceries accordingly. Similarly, upskilling, I tell I'm going to attend one Toastmasters meeting on a Tuesday. Please support on that day. Similarly, health, when I'm going to do some medical checkups, payments, when I had to pay to my maid or we get rent from my tenants and so on. So this really helps me. I will not show any laziness or procrastination for doing this planning. Every weekend, I will make sure that either on a Saturday or on a Sunday, make sure that I plan what I'm going to do and what is my wife's plan, definitely on the weekend. So this is about sprint planning. This I usually do it on a weekly, and this helps me to reduce surprises, conflicts, and fulfillment. So the tracks, you can add some more based upon your choice. With this, let us move to our next session, that is the evaluation session. So coming to the evaluation session, I would request the evaluator for the first speaker, Ekta Agarwal, to present her evaluation. Over to you, Ekta.
Thank you, Mohan.
Yeah.
So evaluation for Doreen's speech on level 2 pathway, the objective was to explain what mentoring was. And she had completely accomplished it. She excelled at explaining the role of a mentor. She started in a very engaging fashion. She engaged with the audience, asking how many of us have had mentors in our life. I like the way she described herself to people who are only on audio. she had amazing use of expressions and hand gestures. She broke the content into segments, and she spoke about very powerful aspects on mentoring and three different ways or occasions when the mentor had helped. What I think can be better is the speed of speech. I felt that the pace at which she was speaking could be a notch lower, because not every native speaker will be able to get or understand at that speed. The construction of the speech, I think the conclusion, I felt, though she ended with the topic, and I think the topic was well placed there, but the conclusion I could have been a little more on the mentoring aspect as well. Thank you, Doreen, for a lovely speech, and we all enjoyed it. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Yeah, thank you, Ekta. Very precise evaluation. So let me call the second evaluator, Toastmaster Sarika. Please present your evaluation for Toastmaster Pramod.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry, there's a slight glitch, so I might not be able to switch on my camera. So I'll start my evaluation for Toastmaster Pramod. Pramod, your topic, when I shouted at an angel. When I listened to the topic, I had three things in my mind. One, an angel was someone who was trying to help you, but you really had to shout at them for some obvious in your insecurity. Second, that person might be someone who is extremely close to you, but also not very close to you. Third, why did you shout at an angel when all that angel was trying to do was to help you? My evaluation for Toastmaster Pramod would be three advices. Two things I liked the best about the speech, and one advice where I would ask you to work upon. First, I really loved how you structured your story, your expressions, your body language, which was the main purpose of your speech, was spot on. Your facial expressions, your gestures, the way you expressed your anxiety, insecurity, frustration got to me. Second, you actually told us that somehow we do not really rely on a nurse rather than a doctor, and that's a very basic human nature. We always have a thing towards a higher degree. What is it that Pramod can do better? There was one thing I noticed, Toastmaster Pramod, in your speech. Even though your body language was spot on, when you were angry, when you were anxious for the nurse to prick your needle, you had a smile on your face. I would suggest you that the expression of anger should have been visible on your face instead of a smile. That might have done justice to the topic wherein you were trying to understand body language with regards to a particular topic. Apart from this, your story structure was in sync. There were no loose ends, and I especially loved your speech. Thank you, Toastmaster Pramod. Over to the TMoD.
Thank you, Sarika. Very precise evaluation. Now I would request Toastmaster Jay to present his timer report. You are not. Yeah. You are not audible, Jay. Maybe you have to speak a bit louder.
So in today's speech, speaker one, Doreen took 7 minutes 5 seconds. Pramod took 7 minutes 29 seconds. For table topics, Prerna took 2 minutes 10 seconds. Am I audible now?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes. Good.
Okay. Yeah, Prerna took 2 minutes 10 seconds. Milind took 2 minutes 15 seconds. Deemaree took 1 minute 23 seconds. And we had a rotating round of table topics. In that, Jen, Ritu, Mark, and Shashidhar participate. Overall, it took 4 minutes 30 seconds. And for the evaluations, Ekta took 1 minute 45 seconds, and Sarika took 2 minutes 45 seconds. That was my report. Thank you. Over to you, Mohan.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Ji. Now I would request our counter, Toastmaster Milind, to present his account report.
Thank you once again, Toastmaster of the day. So first, let me begin by mentioning who were the flawless speakers, and let's give them a big round of applause. In my opinion, the flawless speakers were our presiding officer, Raghu, Doreen, the first speaker, Sarika, the second evaluator, and Deemaree when she was giving her tabletop speeches. As far as the others are concerned, the language evaluator, I felt, had a couple of ahs and ums. The timer had a couple of ahs and ums. Pramod, I think you had more than 5 ahs and ums. Same thing with the Ekta, as well as Prerna, I think, who was in the table topics. So this is basically my report. So what I found was that when we are giving a prepared speech, we are more or less flawless. Of course, our Toastmaster day also had 5+, but when you are speaking for such a long time, I think that is something which is expected. So wonderful job. A big round of applause to those who were flawless and those who were not so flawless. I think we have learned from them and we're going to do better in our next time. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Milind, for a crisp report. I would request Toastmaster Ashwin to present his grammarian report.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Everyone did well. Pramod, you used more horrific thing. I would use the most horrific thing. But I loved your quote where you said, do the thing you fear and the fear will go away. Also, Mark, if he's still here, the saying I loved was winner, winner, chicken dinner. I think I've always used that always. And thank you all for using the word audacious. We had a lot. Durin used it twice. Pramod used it once. Thank you very much. Pranay used it once. Raghu once. Milind once. And Deemaree, who has the command of the English language. You did it 4 times. I honor you, my lady. Thank you. And back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ashwin. So let me come to the theme again. I share my screen. Yeah, the next one is visual management. I hope you all can see my screen. So I just explained the sprint planning, how you can plan your week, so that even the planning, right, that will help you to be prepared and even be mindful. Unless you plan your things well in advance, you cannot focus on the things at the hand. Otherwise, your mind will be completely full thinking something else. So obviously planning will help you to be mindful too, but there's also a tool that is called as, that is for visual management. Obviously, I might be having certain things in my mind as priority. My wife may be having certain things as priority in her mind. My children may be having something as priority in their minds, but how will we know how they are progressing? What is that we need to do on a Monday? What is that we need to do on Tuesday? So for example, on Tuesday, I will have to write here as Toastmasters meeting. Maybe my daughter will write something as fancy dress competition clothes for a Wednesday. So that way it's better either an Excel spreadsheet. If you know Zero board, that is for 2 techie guys, or if in an Excel sheet, you can prepare the columns and you can say on Monday, what is that we are going to do, what my wife wants for meal planning, what is it for upskilling I'm doing, what is it my daughter doing on Wednesday for her clothes. This keeps everything visible. Even the progress we can track. Has somebody started working on it, or is it's the to-do list, or is it completely done? So this helps. The other way is using post-its, colorful post-its. So visual management helps us to get a big picture in a quick span of time. This is one good tool. And the other thing I would like to share is retrospective. Retrospective is about feedback. I'm sure most of you know what is a feedback. You might have given feedback or received feedback. A couple of good points I would like to share. I mean, the best practices. Feedback people give, but never take it personally. Keep your egos aside or hot feelings aside. Basically, separate problem and people. A good retrospective is when you don't blame people. It's basically you give them some constructive ideas. If you can continue giving retrospectives or nothing but the feedback sessions regularly, that is an effective way of giving feedback. So I think we just got the evaluations or the feedback. I hope you will all take it positively and use it for your improvement. So please don't take anything personally. So with this, we are completed the third session, that is the evaluation session. I would like to thank each one of you for your active, wonderful, creative participation today. I would like to hand over the control back to President Toastmaster Raghu.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mohan Tineti, for a wonderful session. Certainly, we don't see the power of having such meetings in family, right? I still remember my childhood when my father used to spend at least 1 hour a day in the evening after he came to home and used to spend the time with me and my sister talking about what went right all that day and how we could have done better at school or in other parts of life. Well, we are missing so many things under the pretext of modern living, but let's keep it aside. I hope you loved the meeting today. I would love to hear feedback from few of our guests. Let me stop recording here and start.